The families of the Orlando nightclub shooting, they have filed a lawsuit against Facebook, Twitter, and Google. Now, the suit claims that those sites have given ISIS a platform. Here's how the suit itself explains it. Quote, without defendants Twitter, Facebook, and Google, and YouTube, the explosive growth of ISIS over the last few years into the most feared terrorist group in the world would not have been possible. Now, Twitter and Google, they're not commenting on the suit, but Facebook issued this following statement. Our community standards make clear that there is no place on Facebook for groups that engage in terrorist activity or for content that expresses support for such activity, and we take swift action to remove the content when it is reported to us. Now, this is not the first time social media, as you know, and their sites have been sued over terror attacks. The father of a victim of the Paris terror attack sued the same three companies for providing a platform for ISIS. Now, Facebook has also been hit with a suit from families of people killed by Hamas attacks in Israel. So, guys, we've had this debate in many different forms, but this is with a nuance. And again, it is, we all know, First Amendment rights, one of not the most cherished right that we enjoy in this country, which is the freedom of speech. But the question is, do different platforms have different, not only standards, but accountability? If I provide a platform for someone to not only preach hatred and whatever else, I very well may be held to a different standard if I allow that and I promote it and that action's taken, versus somebody goes on, albeit without a host or whatever, to promote their ideologies, to call people to whatever call to action this terroristic group was doing, and they use it as a recruiting tool. Why? Just because Facebook, Twitter, etc. says so, why do they get to write the rules as to how they're held and the standard they're held to?
Well, there's federal law on it that says that they're not liable for third-party users. But the allegation in the lawsuit is not just that they're posting it, is that they're providing material support for these terrorist groups. And that's something
defined as what?
Well, that's the issue, right? So if these sites if they're actually exercising editorial capabilities by saying, you know, you can keep that up, but you can't keep this up, then they're kind of involved with it. If they're just simply a pass-through and they're not providing any support, and the definition of material support does not include having these sites, well, then there's not an issue, I think.
But you know what's interesting, Mayo, is in there, the Facebook statement was, we'll take it down if it's brought to our attention. Now, I'm sorry, Facebook is not a charitable function. It's a company with valuations well over $100 billion. So my point is, time out. Here you are making money hand over fist because you're asking users to use your platform, of which they're paying a service for. And now you're saying that you will discern what is acceptable and unacceptable content if someone brings it to your mind, but you won't take accountability on your own to police what's being said. They've also, just to complicate this more, have said they will now use certain metrics to decide what's real news and fake news. So they've already gotten in. Aren't they half pregnant? Haven't they already said, in effect, that yes, some content's objectionable and some isn't? So if they've done that, how can they turn around and say, it's not my fault if some jihadist is using our platform?
Well, it's a forum for ideas. The internet itself is a forum for ideas. And if they did the exact same thing on a street corner and went out and said, it's great to be a member of ISIS, who do you hold responsible? You don't sue the city, you don't sue the town.
But there's one difference. They promote themselves also as a resource for news, okay? Now, they do. So if people go there and they have a story out, and to use your expressions, a platform for news, they say that versus me make up something or defame someone's reputation without any basis, I know I'm getting a lawsuit. Why aren't they?
Not a platform for news, platform for ideas, which is very different. So your idea can contain your opinion. It doesn't have to be fact-based. And at some point, the bigger issue is, if you go back and you look at the Constitution, is it's a chilling effect on the First Amendment. And you start to now empower a corporation, albeit, to make determinations about what's appropriate, what's not. Now let's look at it a little bit differently. You go online.
But is it just an idea, to Doug's point? If it's not espousing something, but it's being used as an open tool for recruitment for criminal activity.
But you can go online right now, and there's child pornography available. You can learn how to make a nuclear
And
device.
that's illegal. No, but it's illegal
Well,
if you're providing a forum for a criminal activity,
Yes.
which is the endangerment of the child here, all the other statutory
correct.
issues that go in.
But it makes you wonder at that point also, now, how is it that that information is still available on the internet? Why doesn't Google, Facebook, why doesn't the United States government come in and make sure that that's shut down? Again, we've talked about it before. We couldn't have a shortwave radio station playing Beethoven without a license from the FCC.
Let me put a finer point on it, Doug. Let's say it's not just an idea where people are espousing hatred for a particular group, but they say, meet me at this club at this time and let's go shoot it up here because I don't like the infidels or whatever else.
Well,
Okay?
now you're getting very close to material support. You're actually providing a mechanism for these people to communicate and actually do something. Think of a conspiracy where you need an actual act. I mean, you're getting closer to material support. If it's just them saying, I don't like this is injustice, well, that's closer to
Do you
news.
think the law is getting, guys, and I know I've got to hit a break here, but do you think we're getting to the point where they're going to define what the Wild West is of the internet, where the line starts and stops between saying, it's not my job?
Facebook or Google, it would be put in an untenable situation of having to know the content, not just know what's there by words, but be able to analyze in real time, more than the NSA apparently can do, that this person may be a threat. And so if they're not able to do that, you're going to hold them liable. So eventually places like Facebook and Google will simply go out of business because it won't be worthwhile to stay in business, too much liability.
And I know we will come back to that question. All right, coming up next, you have some cases of college students in trouble, including Oklahoma running back Joe Mixon, who's caught on camera slugging a woman. The question is what the college chose to do to him and whether or not it's justice or he got off easy.